Alright guys, Patrick Walters, and I'm here with you guys today to do the Humminbird and Minn Kota Angler Spotlight. You know, the first things first, where am I from? I am from Summerville, South Carolina. That's where I was born and raised, and it is where I still live today. And it is in the low country, close to Charleston, about 20 minutes outside of Charleston, and I'm about 30 minutes from the beach. I've been fishing professionally now this is my second year fishing professionally. I fished the Opens in college and all before that, but now this is my second year on the Bassmaster Elite series. First question, shoes, sandals, or barefoot on the boat? As you can tell right now, I am barefoot, but I would have to say in order of shoes that I prefer, it'd go probably barefoot, flip-flops, tennis shoes, and then boots when it's raining, only when it's cold, but that's my order of shoes on the boat. Second question, favorite lake and why? Favorite lake, I'd have to say Santee Cooper, here on Lake Marion, the home pond. And I'm gonna say everybody loves their home lake, they do, but it's got so many different faces. Whether you're above 95 and you're in the swamp, or you're down towards the canal, you can catch fish schooling, you can catch fish offshore, you can catch fish shallow all year round. It's got a lot of big fish in it, and that's what I love. I love catching a lot of fish, but I do love catching large fish, and so I'd have to say Lake Marion on the Santee Cooper. Next question, and this is from Chris Zaldane. It is, would you rather weigh a single 10-pounder on a Ned rig or 5 2-pounders on a frog? I do love frog fishing. Everybody does, but a 10-pounder, I mean, God, I don't care what it is. I don't care if I got a 2-pound line and a brim hook, old number 2 brim hook or something on a bobber with a cricket. I'm going with the 10-pounder on the Ned rig all day. Next question from Joseph J. You need to cull one and it needs to be a kicker. During the pre-spawn / spawn, do you head offshore or do you beat the bank? Well, if you know me personally, I'm a bank beater. Truly, hands down, grown up fishing shallow. I used to think a bass, this is actually pretty funny. Growing up on Santee, I didn't think a bass could live deeper than 15 foot of water, but I did learn quickly that you can catch them a lot deeper than that. But beating the bank, hands down all day. I just feel like during the pre-spawn, during the spawn, that's where the fish are going to, that's where they're heading, and that's where I like to be. Next question, explain the deal with straight braid. Because as you see here, I'm fishing on straight braid.
Straight braid. Straight braid.
Straight braid, only way to go, babe.
Well, that originated with Mark Zona, Davey Hyde, and myself. We were out on Santee Cooper, and it was actually with the Wired to Fish guys as well, and we were all talking, and we needed an expression in the fishing industry, because I was talking with them guys, it's like, you know, roll tide. I mean, that's the college football saying. Everybody loves saying roll tide, and we're like, we need something, you know, fishing, some fish slang. Straight braid. I mean, when something's just like, hell yeah, straight braid all day, baby. Next question from Kyle S. What body of water did you get your start on as a pro, and how did you do? I guess that question is referring to what is my first body of water I fished as a professional. The first body of water I ever fished in a tournament was on Lake Murray, but the first body of water I ever fished as a Bassmaster Elite Series Pro was the St. Johns River last year, and actually finished 4th, had 90 pounds and some change. It was just a great tournament, really, overall, but those two, St. Johns River for my first professional tournament, and my first body of water that I ever fished a tournament was back when I was in middle school, and that was Lake Murray here in South Carolina. Next question is from Seth Fighter. Figured there had to be one from him coming in there. It's, what's the ideal inseam on a pair of shorts? If you're 5'10", he's asking for a friend. Truly, we all know he's asking for himself. But I'd have to say the perfect inseam, if you're 5'10", 6'4", 4'2", doesn't matter. Probably around 6 inches. Maybe around 5 inches. If you're feeling frisky, we might go 4 3/4, but that's getting there. No longer than 6. Next question. How many rods do you have on deck at any given time? I think I'm a rod hoarder. I really do. On a tournament day, if I'm in the Falcon, I'm going to say a minimum of 12. On an average, it's between 12 and 14, 6 and 6, or 7 and 7. As you can see, we're in the John boat right now, which in the John boat, you're supposed to have just like 1 or 2 rods. I think I've got 6 or 7 laid out on deck. I got a rod box full of them. I feel like if you pass something, it could be any piece of cover, a brush pile, a tree, or anything, if I make one cast with that one rod, it may only get casted one time, it was worth it in my opinion. So I love to have as many rods on possible. I don't have like 20 plus, but a minimum on our average of about 14. Next question is from Lee Livesey. How many cypress trees are in Santee Cooper? Tell you the truth, that's a good question. I might count them, because if I count them, I'll be 76 years old by the time I get done. I'm gonna say about 100,000 probably. There's little babies, mediums, big ones. That's an old 10-pound tree right there. I can't tell you how I got that name, but I'd say in the hundreds of thousands. Next question is from Brad T. It is, what is your last resort bait and presentation when you need a bite? You know, Brad, the first thing that comes to mind, it's my bailout bait, and I love throwing it here on Santee Cooper. It's a wacky worm. It's a Zoom fluke stick or a Zoom slinky. Actually got one right there. Old VMC Nico hook. Gosh, that is a bite getter, I'm telling you guys. Throwing it on a spinning rod, 15-pound braid to like a 10-pound leader. That right there catches them. Here's the next question from Stephen P. When fishing offshore rock piles and humps, what do you find yourself using most, 2D or 360 imaging? I'd have to say if I'm behind the seat and I'm looking, it's gonna be side scan. But when I'm fishing offshore and I'm at the bow using the trolling motor, 360 all day. As you can tell right here, I usually just run the 360. I don't even put 2D sometimes. If I have two graphs up there, I'll run one with GPS and 2D just to kind of make sure there's no fish under the boat. But the 360 mega all day, hands down. That way it tells you what's beneath you, what's in front of you, and what's even behind you if you do pass over something. Next question is from Parker S. What's your go-to bait in murky water after it rains and the floodgates are open? If it rains and the floodgates are open, I'm gonna head slam in the dirt and I'm gonna tie on a big spinnerbait. A big spinnerbait with big blades, probably like a Colorado and Indiana, just gets bit. You can cover a lot of water and find where those fish are staging. And I'm looking for current breaks. I'm looking for eddies where those fish can really get out of that moving water, possibly find cleaner water, and I'm hunting them down with that spinnerbait. Next question from Tom P. What is your favorite sonar views when graphing in practice? Well, Tom, the one thing I love about my Humminbird electronics is I usually have two graphs at the console, which is not needed, but that's really what I like to do. And on the left screen, I'll have GPS and Sonar, and that screen probably stays on there 99% of the time. And my second graph, the graph to the right, I'll have side scan and down scan. And that way, I'd say when I'm graphing, and that's one thing I love about the Helixes, is I can change the panel size. And so it'll be probably 70% side scan and 30% of the down scan screen. And the mega imaging with the side scan, hands down, it'll tell you what's down there, what you're looking at, and how to find those fish. Next question is from Jared B. How did you work your way up to the elites, and what advice can you give guys who have dreams to make it big? Well, I actually started fishing locally, and then I started fishing college. I fished college for 4 years at the University of South Carolina, and that didn't really propel my career or start my career, but it really kind of advanced my skills as an angler from on the water and behind the scenes in the business industry, really making contacts, learning the ins and outs of the fishing industry and how to kind of approach people. And then after college, I went and fished the Bassmaster Opens, and I fished my senior year. I fished the Northern Opens in 2017. Did pretty decent. I actually missed the elites that year by 2 points, which it was a good thing because I still had a semester of college to finish up. If I would have made it that year, I probably wouldn't have finished college, and Mama wouldn't have been too happy about that. But that next year in 2018, I fished the Eastern and the Central Opens and qualified in both divisions and made the elites that year. But guys, overall, I just want to say thanks for tuning in to this episode of Humminbird and Minn Kota's Angler Spotlight. Thanks for all the questions. I wish I could answer all of them. I'm going to get back to a lot of you guys on Facebook and Instagram who asked a lot of questions that I didn't get to, but these are the ones that I got to today. So thank you guys for watching. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and you can go subscribe to my YouTube channel at Patrick Walters Fishing. Thanks, guys.